Welcome to the Mindset Game podcast. I am absolutely delighted to have the wonderful Naomi Rhode with us today. Naomi is a sought after professional speaker, having spoken in every state and in 15 countries. She is president of the International Federation of Speakers, author of three inspirational books, one of them, My Father's Hand, Reflections of a Father's Wisdom. Also, The Gift of Family, A Legacy of Love, and More Beautiful Than Diamonds, The Gift of Friendship. She's also contributed to many other books and publications. Naomi is past president of the National Speakers Association and one of the first women to receive the coveted Council of Peers Award of Excellence from the National Speakers Association for outstanding speaking skills and professionalism. She is co-founder of Smart Practice, a marketing and manufacturing company that provides products and services to the healthcare industry worldwide. On a personal note, as a fellow member of the National Speakers Association, I'd heard amazing, wonderful, heartfelt things about Naomi for many years, and I was fortunate to enjoy some one-on-one time with her a few weeks ago, where I got to know her a little bit, and I'm absolutely thrilled and grateful, Naomi, to have you here with us. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction, Jared. And it's really a pleasure to be here because I learned about your target market. And your target market is outstanding people, many of them who are leaders in industry or their professions. And they've come to the place where they say, oh, okay, I'm pretty successful. Now what? And so I'm delighted to be here to talk about some of the now what's of life. And it's going to be a good hour.
Oh, it will. Thank you. So, I'm very curious to learn even more about like how you got into speaking, Naomi. You've been in the business for a while. You've had great success. How in the world did that even happen?
Well, there's a speech that I did early in my career that I did probably, I don't know, I probably did it, I don't know how many times. And the name of the speech was Say Yes to Living. And so often, if we have the modality of saying yes to living, the open doors. And I was in dentistry, and my brother was in dentistry, and he was a very famous speaker in dentistry. And the preventive dentistry the movement hit dentistry in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s. He was speaking to 600 dentists in New York. And I was working in his office and was very excited about preventive dentistry. And he got an important phone call and he said, oh, my hygienist will spend the next 30 minutes telling you what it's like to work in my practice. Help me welcome Naomi Rhode. And that's literally how I got started. And I got out there, I thought, gee, I could pass away or die, or I might as well just say yes. I don't know these people. And I was excited about preventive dentistry. So I just started to share what it's like to be in their office. And we were talking about behavioral change and all of the things that were involved with this movement. Well, there was a dentist in the second row, and he said, we have to have you for half a day in Corpus Christi. And there was a dentist right behind him. He said, well, we want you for a full day in California, in Monterey, California. And that's literally how it started. Now, my husband and I started a company for the products of medicine and dentistry. And so we had a three-pronged business plan. It's good to have a business plan. And the business plan would be that we would be speaking, we would give seminars, and we would have product. And those three became very synergistic. So that's how we got started. And the product became kind of the golden goose of building a well over $100 million company out of speaking and seminars. So that's a little bit of my background. I just started by saying yes and walking through that door and not falling into a faint or passing away in front of 600 dentists. So that's how I got started.
That's really inspiring because I imagine many of us listening are thinking, what would I do in that situation? What have I done in similar situations?
And what have I done? What have I missed? If we asked ourselves, what have we missed? What have we said no to? Or maybe I might do that instead of walking through that door. It's amazing. We've all heard that poem, Two Roads Divide in the Woods. And I took one and changed my life. We've all heard that poem. And it's really true. There's so many places in life that if we take that best road for us, say yes to that road. And sometimes it seems risky, it seems hard. It's speaking when you've never held a microphone for 30 minutes in front of 600 dentists. Oh my goodness, what are you, crazy? No, I have a passion for something. And if you have a passion for something, you can lead people. If you have a passion for something, you can lead people. Where's your passion? Interesting thought.
It's an interesting thought, and it's a thought that many people are thinking. I think especially these days with a lot of change and things that have been going on in our world, like what am I committed to? What do I stand for? What am I willing to go into that place of uncertainty and into the unknown, if you will, for, and risk some things for? And so, you know, yes, a lot of the people listening have had success in some or many areas of their life, and they might be wondering, like, okay, what's next for me? Or is this enough? Yes, I have many
Sure.
things that I want. What can you advise them to kind of support them? I know over the years you've spoken about the 4 S's. I'm certainly
Oh, I love
curious
them.
about that.
I love the 4 S's. And I would encourage your listener to have a pencil or a pen right now and to write down these 4 S's. Start out with the word student and make a little line, because student moves to success, which leads to significance, which leads to servant leader. We start out as students, we move to a level of success, we become significant, and we end up being servant leaders. Now, that's a profound life journey. Some people get stuck. That's maybe a 5th S. They get stuck and they don't move, and they just stay being a student. We've all had the knowledge of people who go back for another degree and another degree and another degree because they don't know what they want to be ever. I'm not making fun of that. I'm just having fun. Okay. But being a student is really important. It's really important to be a learner, to be inquisitive, to ask questions. One of the things my husband said to me is, if you marry me, you'll never be bored. And he was right, because he asks everybody questions. So being a student is a profound thing. However, it should lead to a level of success in something. And all of a sudden, we start becoming successful. Oh my goodness, we have a marriage now. We have a degree. Oh, we have a degree. We actually bought our own car. We didn't have our dad buy this one. We bought a house. Oh my goodness. Student is leading to success, and we're moving up in the career ladder in our corporation or in our profession, and we're becoming noticed for our whatever, and we're given the next. Wow, we're moving from student to success, and it's such a great place to be. It's a place I want to be the rest of my life. No. Now, I'm going to stop a minute and maybe change the thought a tad. Some of you have heard, in fact, probably all of you, of the concept of halftime. And halftime can occur almost any time in your life, but it's a place as much as a clock. It's a time, it's a place, it's a clock that says, whoa, something is going to be different in the second half. Now, we're all fans of some kind of sport, whether it's basketball or football or whatever it is. What happens in halftime changes the game. A team can be losing, and they can come out and I don't know how many of you watched the Kentucky Derby, but there was a horse that wasn't even going to be in the race, but he was a fill-in, and he went by everybody, and he succeeded. Why? He must have known that he could, and he must have known that he should for some reason. Now I'm giving that horse a lot of credit, but I'm also giving the jockey a lot of credit. But what happens at halftime in our lives is that we take a time, I don't know when it happens for you, but when our first daughter got married, I started halftime. I said to myself, ooh, life's going to be different. She walked up the aisle with her dad, and she walked down the aisle with someone else. And she no longer has her last name. Whew, that's a big change. I guess my life is changing. A halftime determines our lives by us being quiet and thinking and having some ideas of what we want to have happen to move into that second half of life. I think halftime happens somewhere in the middle of the second S. When we've already been a student, and we're always students, we continue being students. We are already successful and will always continue to be successful at whatever we do. But all of a sudden we say, what for? Why am I doing this? Why am I working this hard? Am I spending enough time with my kids? What's happening to my marriage? Do I want to pay that price? Do you know, this is interesting. I always wanted to be a physician. Always. But my father died. My mother didn't have any money. She was ill. We didn't have any money. And I went to my high school counselor and I said, I want to be a physician. She said, no, you don't have enough money. Sorry. You'll have to be a nurse or a medical tech or a dental hygienist. So I wasn't a physician. So when I was 35 years old, I started halftime for some reason. I'm sitting on the rocks in Maui. It's a great place to go through halftime. My husband always wanted to be a physician. And he said, let's do it. Well, but I said, there's no medical school in Phoenix because there wasn't at the time. Well, then let's move to Tucson. But we can't because we've got this company that we started. Well, we can work that out somehow. But what about the kids? Well, it took me about an hour to figure out I didn't want to pay the price to be a physician anymore. That was a halftime decision. And about the same time, I started speaking. But I spoke intermittently enough till the kids got into high school, and we got started early enough that all of a sudden they're going to college, and I could spend 42 years on an airplane almost every weekend, speaking all over the world. Whew. Because I said no to something and yes to something else. And I love the platform. Now, let me say very quickly, I love the platform because of the third S, and that's significance. You can have influence on the platform. Words are powerful, but Virid, everybody has a platform. The platform is not just the one in public in front of people. The platform is marriage. The platform is working in your corporate environment. The platform is training the people that you have underneath you. The platform is hiring because you're the best HR person they've ever had. The platform, oh my goodness, it goes on and on and on. We have platforms, multiple platforms, all of us. And all of a sudden, we're starting to realize that we move from success to wanting influence. We figure it out. We only got one life to live. We're going to die someday. Will anyone care that we ever lived? Jim and I are in the process of trying to get gathered together enough stocks and bonds and monies here and there to make a huge donation to Arizona Christian University. Why are we doing that? Because we believe in their platform and we want to multiply their platform. We want our influence to go on beyond our life. So we move from success to significance when we move through halftime and realize there's more to life, and maybe that more is influencing people. We have dentists who have come to our seminars. One dentist has gone on 50 mission trips to fix the teeth of people all over the world. He retired early with enough money to support himself in 50 trips. Tell me who's significant. He had a well dug in a village so they would have fresh water in our honor.
Wow.
So there are people in Africa drinking fresh water in our honor. Virid, that's significance. The amount of money I've made is not significant. In a country like our country, you can earn enough money to have a good life. But what is enough money? You know, there's a little legend that a man was told that he could have all of the land that he could walk around. So he got a good night rest and he started out in the morning with protein, I'm sure. Had a protein shake. And he started out on his journey because he was going to walk around a huge circle to get as much land as he could in 24 hours. He had to come back to the place he started. So he kept walking, but maybe he should make the circle a little bit bigger. Maybe a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And the end of the legend is he never got back to where he started. So he lost it all. And the parable goes like this. How much land does a man need? The answer? Just a little bit more. And a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. So when do we figure it out? That success is really becoming significant. The third S. But again, to go back to the beginning for a moment, Robert Browning said something that's very interesting. It's kind of a convoluted sentence, but maybe you'll catch it on the first run. The best is yet to be. The last of life for which the first was made. Ooh. The best is yet to be the last of life for which the first was made. In other words, your foundation is really important. So when you move from the first half to your second half, I think it's very important to look back and say, is there anything in that first half that I need to reconcile so that I'll be healthier in the second half? Forgiveness is a huge part of moving from success to significance. I think if you're going to move from success to significance, you need to be sure you have a good mission statement. A good mission statement. You know, we make corporate mission statements all the time. We have committee meetings and we spend a week on this mission statement. But as people, we often don't have a mission statement. Now, I don't know if our listeners have ever had serious health problems. The first time I had a health problem was I was on the way to the hospital to have a lump removed. It was a lump in one of my breasts, and it was back a long time ago when if it was benign, if it was malignant, they would just remove your breast right then and there. So it's kind of funny to sign the paper. And when I woke up from that surgery, some friends of mine, it was benign. It was benign. And some friends of mine had written a sign and put it on the ceiling of the hospital room. And the sign said, "To God be the glory." Whoa, that was pretty heavy. That's kind of my first brush with, oh, this life isn't going to last forever. Then I got through that very well. And then about 14 years ago, I had a massive stroke and I was paralyzed. And I thought, oh, I might not walk again. Oh, my voice is always going to be scratchy. Oh, that's interesting. And again, I thought, if I can walk or if I can't walk, how am I going to use my life? I want to be significant. Last summer, COVID, I'm in the hospital, almost died. And I thought, you know what? If I live, there's a purpose. Maybe it was to be on this podcast. Maybe somebody who's listening is saying, wow, I need to think about this. I have one life to live. And when it's over, it is over. And it's not in my hands. I'm not choosing the hour. So a mission statement becomes really important. I have a life mission statement, and I have a different one every year. That's a sub-mission statement. My sub-mission statement this year, thanks for asking, is wise words, speaking wise words with kindness. That's it for the year. Speaking wise words with kindness. I think about it all the time. You win with significance, not just success. So I would suggest that they have a mission statement that you all do. I would encourage you to change, write this down, from establishing goals to making commitments. There's a big difference between a commitment and just a goal. You know, I'd love to lose weight. Oh, I am committed. There is a huge difference. Okay, how about this one? Simplify and edit the second half by asking, is my cup too full? I had this speech say yes to living. And I meant it. And I still do. But it doesn't mean saying yes to everything. You don't say yes to everything all the time because it all gets squished together. And then all of a sudden you're not doing anything as well as you'd like to. So is your cup too full? Simplify, edit. I would like to also suggest constant learning. We're several S's away from the word student, but I should be constantly reading, constantly watching podcasts, constantly going to seminars, constantly being involved in the National Speakers Association. I'm a very good speaker, supposedly, but I'm not going to miss a meeting. If I can, I'm not going to miss a chapter meeting in Arizona. If I can, I'll never miss a national meeting because I'm constantly learning. I learn from the way other people are doing it. I learn from the mistakes they make. And it's very important to constantly learn. And then we move to the servant leader. Oh boy. Now, there are two words here, and they may seem that they're the antithesis of each other, servant and leader. I don't think they are. I think a true leader is a servant. We have 5 buildings for our company on one road here. It's one street here in Phoenix, McDowell Road. And when we drive into any of those properties, and now we're just the co-founders, we passed it on to our kids. We're just the co-founders, but when we drive into any of those properties, Jim is picking up things on the way there's anything out of line, he's picking it up, throwing it in the trash. Why? Because he's a servant leader. A servant leader, he's not above picking up a piece of paper that fell off somebody accidentally. So what is a servant leader? How do you become a servant leader? The leader with a towel over his arm, so as to speak, to help the person who is in need. To be aware of who our people are. Jim and I were having 2 to 3 seminars a year in Hawaii. Now, our employees knew that. Our employees hadn't been to Hawaii. So Jim said, if we reach a certain goal, and this was probably 20 years ago, if we reach a certain goal, we will take you and your spouse to Hawaii. Free. We'll pay for everything. Okay, the funniest thing happened. Knock on my office door, which was open. It's always open. And I said, hi, sweetheart, you want to come in? She said, yeah, can I talk to you? I said, sure. She said, well, I've been living with this guy for 11 years, and everybody thinks we're married. So they expect that he's going to go to Hawaii with us. Do you think I could just take him anyway, even though we're not married? I don't know what you would have said, but out of the mouth of whatever comes whatever. And I looked at her and I smiled, and I looked at my watch and I said, there's still time. And she walked out kind of smiling and looking at me funny. And about 3 weeks later, she came back and she said, we're married. We went to Las Vegas and got married. And I said, good for you. And they went to Hawaii with us. We took over 100 people to Hawaii and paid for all their expenses. Now, I don't have that money. What am I going to do without that money? We had employees who knew that we respected them, that we loved them, and we cared about them. And we wanted them to have a good time also in a beautiful place. We also gave them lots of encouragement to get by themselves and have time to just think about what they wanted to be and do differently in the future of their lives. One of the last seminars we had in Hawaii, I said to the group, we're talking about setting goals and commitments and mission statements. And I said, okay, just for the fun of it, there were about 150 people there. And we were at the Marriott Hotel right on the beach in Maui. I said, just for the fun of it, kick your shoes off right now. Just kick your shoes off. Well, most of them had flip-flops on or whatever, so it was easy to do. And I said, okay, your purse, if you have a purse, just put it down on the floor. And they're looking at me like, okay, put my purse on the floor. Okay. I said, okay, I want to give you 25 minutes. I want you all to find a solitary place on the beach. I will stay in the room and watch your purses and your shoes. I want you to go and find a quiet place and finish your mission statement and your commitment statement. Go. Sure. And they scattered. And they came back in 25 minutes. And we had the best conversation about how it felt to be in front of those waves and have no telephone ringing and no commitment and all by themselves. And they could write down what they really wanted to do to be significant. And probably even to be more of a servant leader. Because you see, Viren, I think you and I would agree that everybody is a leader in some way. Okay, so we have this little 2-year-old grandson, and he's the politest little guy. And he loves his papa, his grandpa. Great grandpa. He's a great grandson. We have 7 great grandsons, grandchildren. So this little 2-year-old great grandson is over for breakfast. He's sitting in the chair and he loves Papa. And Papa gets up to get the coffee. We're talking about everybody being a leader. His name is Leo. And Papa gets up to get the coffee and Leo says, Papa, 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 please sit. Come sit, Papa, please. Is that just amazing? He's taking leadership. He's saying, I want my Papa here. I don't want him in the kitchen there. I want him here at this table. Papa, please come sit. So, what's your leadership role? Let me ask you that question. Now, I have another quote that I want to share with you that I think is pretty amazing. The more you listen to the voice within you, the better you will hear what is sounding outside. I don't know who or what put the question. I don't know when it was put. I don't even remember answering, but at some moment I did answer yes to someone or something. And from that hour, I was certain that existence is meaningful and that therefore my life has a goal. Dag Hammarskjöld. Wow. Okay, may I say to you, amazing viewers of this podcast, I wish I could be sitting with you right now. I wish I could be looking in your eyes when you were looking back at me and I could see you. And I'd love to challenge you. You've been a student. You've moved into success and you've done it so well. You've done it so well in a free country. What is your responsibility? Naomi, George, Paul, Sam, Sally, what is our responsibility to be significant in this world that is complex, that has a moral slide that is just incredible? Are we to sit and sip our whatevers by the pool, or are we to become involved? Are we to become significant? Are we to make sure that there's a well in Africa where there's fresh water? Do we care? Are we servant leaders? There are 4 S's. And my hope and prayer, Virid, is that all of us will strive to move in this journey of life into a place of great significance as we serve others. Thank you for the privilege of being here, honey.
Oh, thank you, Naomi. I think that there is a purpose and a reason that this conversation entered my life today, and I thank you for that. And on behalf of all of our viewers and listeners and readers, I thank you as well. I think that wherever we find ourselves, whether it's in the student or success or significance or servant leader, to pause and, of course, give thanks for our journey, right? For the past that brought us to where we are. Give forgiveness where we need to give forgiveness. Give understanding and compassion where we can give compassion and understanding. Get those learnings that we can take forward with us to take even better care of ourselves, and in doing so also better care of our world. And I think that that is how our world will become an even brighter, lighter,
Yes.
more free place. And so thank you, Naomi.
It's my privilege. Thank you very much.